Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Katarn here, the Astro Adventurer, and today I want to look at the Polaris. Let's take a look at RSI's newest starship, kind of go through the deck by deck, and give you some of my feelings on the overall of the ship, and then we can just have some fun. So thanks a lot. Anyway, it sounds like it's supposed to be doing something. It looks like the elevator finally showed up. ETU, so they're not dedicating all the resources to it. And I'm sure that there are more Polarises spawned in here than this game can handle. So let's go ahead and take us up to the bridge. All right, as you can see, the elevator could certainly be faster. I'm hoping that that's improved in a future patch. I get it, for the grand scale of things, you want it to be a little slower, but the bridge is the top deck. We'll go from the bridge around the ship. So like I said, hopefully they fix that. All right, so here we are on the main elevator, and as we come in here, we're going to take a look at the bridge. On the way to the bridge, you have your escape pod, which is perfect for your command crew and anybody in the forward section. You know, with the whole death of a spaceman, preserving your character if you can is going to be a priority. There'll be some that don't care about that, certainly, but I will. Yeah, let's take a look at these. So we're on the bridge now. We have, looks like, component racks potentially. AI blade servers, maybe. Facilitating AI crew in the future. Okay, so here we have some fuses, and it looks like some CPU units. Okay, so I can see that getting potentially slaving out this this ship in the old Star Wars sense, the slave circuit. Where you basically have the CPU run part of it. All right, so as we come down onto the bridge, we have 5-man stations. We have 2 remote turret stations here, which control the back turrets on the ship, both top and bottom, as well as the pilot sits here. So this is your helm seat, and over here is your co-pilot seat. And then here, of course, is the captain's chair. So you have the whole Star Trek. Yeah, so you have the whole Star Trek aesthetic. Now here in the captain's chair, we're actually able to zoom in and take a look at the Polaris a little bit more. This is as close as the game will let me zoom in. So we can kind of spin around here and see it. It's very faceted. The hull is very busy. It's got a ton of detail to it. I absolutely love that. As we come back here, you can kind of get a sense of the engines. Again, it's hard to understand scale, but down there, that little tiny thing that looks like a Hot Wheels car is that go-kart, or is that golf cart that I was in. So it is just immense. Now, I also pulled out one of my RSI Polaris, sorry, RSI Scorpius ships over there because we're going to fit it into the dock. I've seen people that are able to get 2 Polaris into the bay by arranging them correctly. So that's good to know that that's a possibility. All right. Now in the captain's chair, you've got all your functionality. And I just don't believe you can actually fly the ship from this chair. So let's go ahead and get up and move back through. Here, this is the holo table where you'll have recreations of battles, and the hangars are having a hard time today. Everything is it wasn't like this when I tried it out in the last PTU patch. Okay, so here you'll have a real-time creation of the battle that you're working in. That's pretty cool. You can see that, well, everything is flickering because it looks like it's fighting itself. I wonder if there's 2 Polaris here in the same spot. All right, so next to the bridge you have the armory, which is a really neat area. There's room for 14 weapons plus a number of suits here for excursions. And when I say 14 weapons, I mean 14 rifle racks. I'd already counted them, as well as a number of let's see, what is it, 4 times 5, so there's 20 pistol mounts. And with space being an issue that you are going to have to actively manage, that's going to be a problem. So here we have the main elevator. So what you would do is go into your armory and then deploy wherever it is that you're going. And I do hope that the kind of shielding that we're going to see in the in the hangar is used otherwise. Now here's the captain's area. They say it's not done yet. I don't believe them. I think what they're doing is they're holding this off until IAE because there's some big reveal inside of there or some functionality that they want to have like be a jaw drop moment. Okay, here are two more here's another turret. And on this side, here's a manned turret. So there are, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe there's 7 man turrets on this. Plus your bridge crew, plus your engineers, hangar crew. It's a lot. You're gonna realistically, I feel like to really get the most out of this ship, that's including having pilots ready to go, having people, you know, in combat roles. You're probably gonna need like 14 players. So it's one of those things that maybe you could fly it yourself, but you certainly are gonna be vulnerable. All right, and over here we have, sorry, I was looking at the other stuff. You have the crew quarters here. Nice little plants. Hope everything is tacked down really well. More fuses. We're going to see these throughout the ship. Just basically components that keep the ship moving. Now, if we go into one of the habitats here, you can see it reminds me very much of the set that they used a lot in Deep Space Nine in the Defiant, where there was 2 bunks and not much else, and it was always like 2 actors basically standing or sitting right on top of each other for season 3 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. That's just that's just what I get out of it. Now they do have storage space here, which is really cool. So each person's gonna have personal storage in their locker, and you'll be able to access that. And there is a bathroom as well. Now we can debate whether or not stuff like this actually adds anything to the game. But one cool thing that they did here is they made a mirror. It's kind of weird in how it's like you're always looking forward, but I guess that makes sense because in their implementation, your head would be there. But yeah, you can actually see yourself, which is kind of cool. So you can see me. There's a bug with this character for some reason. Like, my beard is white in the character creator, but as soon as I spawn into the universe, my beard turns dark, and I don't understand it. It should be white as my hair, but my eyebrows, but whatever. Okay, so we have over here toilet, shower, all that good stuff, and there are multiple crew emplacements. All right, we come out to this section. This is off the main deck, so if we look this main hallway here, okay, we have our first access to the hangar, which we will open up. And in the hangar, you can see very spacious. It's designed for one RSI Scorpius. If you put one in here, you'll have plenty of room, lots of room to maneuver around it, reload, rearm it, whatever you need to do. But we have seen some enterprising players be able to fit 2 in here, and they say it fits pretty comfortably. They have to be facing opposite directions, and then they land in here. So we're going to try this out. Excuse me. Not 100% sure how to open the hangar from in here. Let's see. Is this it? Yes. Okay. Very cool. And that white line across there is actually an atmospheric preserver, so you can move your ships through that without losing atmosphere. Finally, we have the tech of Star Trek and Star Wars and stuff like that. It's nice to see, rather than decompressing this whole area and potentially all your hallways to space. I really hope that a lot of the ships start to use that technology, because that would just everything a lot easier, especially you're thinking the Constellation, where everyone's up there playing cards and all of a sudden somebody vents the whole damn place into space. Yeah. But here you can kind of see the effect that they have on that, where it almost looks like steam or something right on the edge. It's pretty neat. All right, so we have the hangar. Hangar's huge, and inside of the hangar is back here, I believe. Might be in the front, but there's a way for the co-pilot to actually look back in the hangar and have a or is that below in the cargo bay? It might be in the cargo bay, and have a view of what's going on in here. So let's check this side. All right, kind of All right, so I guess they're trying to make sure that maybe if you lose power that you don't automatically vent the ship, which is the point of this bulkhead here. You can see we've got additional escape pods. This is another man turret. Down here is a docking collar. Let's take a look. Oh, we have our lighting. Let's go to red alert. There we go. Alert condition red. I like it. That's not opening, so we're not going to deal with it. All right, over here we have our mess hall, which also comes out into the main hallway, kind of like a little rec area. I like it. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, performance is not the best. Interesting. It would be super interesting if they actually have these working in the future. I know that the new Star Lancer has a pool table, and I would like to see that. All right, so we have some ladder access to the lower decks. And doesn't look like that opened up for me. We'll come over here. I believe this side is medical, but I could be wrong. This could be the brig. Yeah, this is medical. Okay, so in here we have 4 tier 2 beds, which are pretty substantial. They can heal most injuries. If you get a tier 1 right now, the only ships that I know that can do it are 0, and you have to go to a planetary hospital facility. Now, if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments, as I'm sure you guys always will. It would be much appreciated. And you can see that there are 2 beds on each side with the corresponding spawn and treatment center. Be interesting to see how medical plays out. And these monitors actually should work. Now, you can see right now they're spinning, but I know on the brig side you can actually see people in the brig, which is kind of cool. Let's go around the back and come back over to the other side before we leave this deck. All right, so back here we have another engineering, or we have the start of the engineering section. And there is a main elevator, kind of like Star Trek style, that goes down to engineering. There'll be some engineering stations here where people can do rerouting of the ship systems. I really do like this. A lot of the ships had placeholder stuff, but it's starting to look more like their final art since it's matching the MFDs now, and it looks very Star Trek, and I'm a fan. So here you can see like what one of the engineering systems will look like. And here I assume this is some type of power plant. Probably dual power plants. No, there's not one over here, so maybe that is it. I know back here we have a giant gravity core as a setup. That's pretty neat looking. I'd actually like all the ships to have gravity, as well as the ability to cancel out inertia, because in a ship like this, if I go flying, I mean, like, we better have taken an insane hit rather than just, you know, pulling a high G maneuver, because that just wouldn't be fun at all. You're back here trying to do something with the ship, and then like not in combat or not getting hit by something or whatever, all of a sudden your character flies across the room. Maybe like a torpedo impact or something, you know, a la Star Trek, but come on. All right, so down here, we can see that the elevator makes a stop here at the sub-level 1, and we have an overview of engineering. We can get down in there when we go down to the next level, but you can kind of see the engine room, the little cooling area down there. Everything is under some type of liquid. It looks really neat. We're going to take a look at the engine. It kind of reminds me of Star Trek Enterprise, with like the Warp 5 engine being the core of the show in terms of the set there. So here's our engineering area. Coming back up here, we need to check out this side because it is a little bit different. As we come in here, we have the brig. Now, for some people, you may spend more time here than others, or this may be your favorite part, especially if you're going to use the ship for large-scale bounty hunting. And here we have our cells. You can see actually very tastefully done. Padding on the walls. You know, the toilet is very jail time. But when you're in here, I don't know if it's going to work. Oh, yeah, it is working. Like, if I was over there, you'd be able to see me right here. So the monitors are working on this side. That's super cool. And once again, here's another brig. Now, personally, myself and Cave Johnson agree that, like, blue force fields for doors look amazing, but I understand why they didn't go with that, because once you turn off the power, you lose your force fields. So there's that. Okay, we'll go ahead and push this to open. And then here we have 2 additional escape pods on this side, as well as another man turret. That one pops out of the side of the ship. And down here's another docking collar, but it looks like maybe this one will open for me. Let's see. Keep locked. Emergency use only. Okay. It worked last PTU patch, but it doesn't look like it's working now. So we're going to go ahead and take this ladder down. I mean, we can take an elevator down or go through engineering, but I think that sometimes the simplest things... Oh, that's scary. Sometimes the simplest things are the best. Okay, so that takes us out into our cargo area. Sorry, guys, my nose is running so much today. Let's go ahead and open up the cargo. I kind of dig that it's a pull handle. Pretty neat, actually. You can see the angle here of the ramp. And they're quite large because they have to reach all the way down to the bottom. I would love for them to be able to dynamically telescope based on the side profile of what you're touching, maybe someday. Some people are annoyed by that, saying that's entirely too large of a ramp. Other people think it's fine. I am of the it's fine opinion. Whatever makes it functional. Now, as you can see, you cannot get a tank up here. They've tried it. There's just not enough room. The C1, the Crusader C1 is undefeated in that respect, but you could get other things. So we do have the Ursa over here, and I want to drive it up there just for show. As you can see, it's bouncing like hell because that's been a bug for a while now. So hopefully it doesn't cause the Polaris to explode, but who knows? This is testing for a reason. And I have the Ursa Medevac because it's the only one that actually makes any sense to own, in my opinion. You guys, do you? Comes with a bed which can make any ship, essentially, that can carry it a respawn point, which is super useful. Now I've already engaged all my systems. Alright. That was interesting. I had to turn off and turn back on the engine when I got back in, even though it said it was on. I mean, you can just see how big the ship is. Alright, so the Ursa fits no problem. And there's plenty of room for cargo in here as well. Although, I don't believe this is the ship that people are going to be using with cargo. Just because the operational costs of it are going to be astronomical. That's one of the things. Like, if you're willing to play with some people that don't care about, like, their progression and all of that, then you may have no problem at all with, you know, getting a full crew to do this and going out and using it for non-intended rules. It's just that if everyone expects to be paid, man, it's going to be hard to find a job right now for this. Especially, like, I was talking about this with some other people. Like, if the Star Lancer Max is so, like, amazing with 200 SCU of cargo, there has to be a serious rebalance in terms of how all of that works, right? And here, let's go ahead and check this out. So we have these elevators here. Am I not on? Oh, I'm on it. Okay. Let's go hangar. So these elevators will allow us to take cargo directly up to the hangar. So this would probably be for rearming and reloading. That is awesome that they're thinking about that. Love that. So we'll go back down to the cargo bay. Especially when you don't want to be using beams to move stuff around with the graft holes. All right, so you have 2 of them. There's ladders, which is where we came down. Excellent. Here you can see the main cargo bay, and up here we have one of the cooler parts of the ship, really. Let's see, how do we engage this? Okay, engages here. So you load your torpedoes on here and then take them up and then put them into the torpedo launcher bays. And these are the, what, size 9 torpedoes? It takes 3 of these currently on the PTU to kill a Polaris. So that's pretty crazy. And I'm sure that they're ridiculously expensive each. You know, we have 4 torpedo bays. Pretty insane. Now, the other thing that it does have, which I kind of disagree with this, I feel that your tactical spot should be on the bridge, but it has this dedicated torpedo console, right? And when you power it on, like, this is, as far as I'm aware, and you can kind of see one of the torpedoes get loaded into the tubes here, and up here and back there. You kind of feel like a submariner, but this is like the only way that I'm aware of to fire the torpedoes. And like I said, I don't like it. Your tactical officer is way far away from the bridge, from the, you know, the nexus of the ship. Yes, you can use Discord to talk to each other. Yes, you can use in-game party chat to talk to each other. But it just seems to me like that should be routed through fire control in the bridge. So we'll go ahead and exit this, but you can kind of see how that works. I don't even know if I could fire in here, but I definitely don't want to. And here's another one. So it looks like you'd have engineering and fire control, and then this is the giant front turret. I believe that they're upgunned to size 7s, but if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments, as I know you guys are well and truly able to do. Okay, you can just get a size of how, or get a scale of how large those are. Power on. There you can see. And since this is an armistice zone, I can, or not an armistice zone, I can shoot. Doesn't really do a whole lot, but man, these guns are no joke. Love it. You can kind of see the bottom of the bridge here too, in this turret section. As far as I'm aware, this will not allow you to shoot your own ship. Yeah, okay. Which is good. Then the heat of battle, you know, you might Indiana Jones yourself. So let's go ahead and exit this. Yeah, I'm thinking realistically, you could get away with less, but if you wanted to be fully combat ready with people in all positions, you need 6 because you have 5 bridge positions plus a torpedo gunner. You need at the very least 1 engineer. You need 1 pilot. And you probably want a support person to help run around and fix things with the engineer. So maybe 8. Maybe 8 would be like skeleton crew for this. And that's assuming, like I said, that you didn't even want to use all the turrets and stuff. If you want all the turrets, I'm thinking that you're looking at 14. Really. And though you can play it with less, you're just super less effective. All right, so that's the rear of the ship. Let's go ahead and move forward here. Or that's the front of the ship. Let's go ahead and move towards the engineering section in the rear. See, it's already open for us. So man, that is really cool looking. I love it. So this is very reminiscent of, you know, Star Trek Enterprise, where they're always talking in the engineering set in front of the big warp reactor of what's going on. And you can see down here they've got all this like fluid that I guess is being used as a transmedium to cool things or to contain things. Or it just reminds me a lot of a reactor, because some of the old style nuclear reactors, really old, the kind of the dangerous ones, used something similar to this. Very cool. And then up here you can kind of see we have, again, same styling of systems. Let's see if I can get close enough. Yeah, I would love to see more relevant animations on there with what's going on, but we've got multiple engineering consoles. Let's try this. right, so over here we have a really cool look at that. I don't know if this is the reactor core or what this is, but it does look neat. Whatever the intention was here, it's pretty cool, and you can see all this stuff that kind of flows into it. So there's no doubt that like the artwork style on this is incredible, and I like to see how that plays out in terms of the gameplay. And down here we have another view of everything. It would also be interesting if this was like a high radiation area, so that's part of the reason that that's up there behind glass, and that you need to limit your exposure in here and like certain situations. I don't know. Just thinking out loud here. Or maybe not. Here we can see that there's some more uses. Everything looks pretty cool. Let's open up this door back here. Okay, so this takes us to the lift, and that's pretty much it. So what we're going to do now is run back over to the hangar, or to the cargo bay, run down and get my Scorpius, and try to put that into the hangar. I'm only using keyboard and mouse today, so my flying may be a little, but hopefully we'll get through it together. There it is. Looking for it. Now this should fit by itself very easily. And we can also test how much space there is for two if I try to arrange it accordingly. I really hope now that this ship is intended for this one, that they do a balance pass on like getting into the ship, because it's been a pain in the ass since it came out. It just doesn't work right. It's kind of funny to me that I'm flying this. I kind of feel like one of the maintenance crews flying this because I have my overalls on. Okay, let's go ahead and turn our engines on. At least I thought I did. There we go. All right. Go third person external so that we can line this up a little bit easier. Yeah, for a single person, I think this would be pretty easy to... Oh, I say as I slam into it. My goodness, okay. So, yeah, let's spin around here. What do we have to do? Or Z. Yeah, so they really didn't leave a lot of room here, because I don't think that they ever intended you to have more than one in here. But you can see that even like not being that careful, I got this in pretty easily. Let's go ahead and lift off again slightly. Why am I sliding so much? Come on, what is going on here? You know, it's funny. I wonder if the Polaris is like affecting this, because whenever I was parking this before, I had no issues. So let's see. Yeah, see how I'm like coming down even though I'm not giving it any throttle? I wonder if the Polaris is gravity pull. It has to be. Because normally in a ship like this, the thrusters will just keep you, you know, on station, but that's not happening here. So that's very interesting that they're reacting to each other. Watch, like if I go up here, I wonder if I can get out of the gravity of it. No, my stuff is all messed up now, and I'm just falling. I don't know. Maybe I messed up the ship in some way. Let me go ahead and land and turn off the ship and back on and see if I can get my thrusters back working. Yeah, because normally in a ship, if you just let go, it's supposed to try to keep you in that station if it can, especially when we're not dealing with anything crazy like this planet's gravity. Let's go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, we're still drifting. That's interesting. That's gonna make it harder. All right. So the way you would want to get 2 in here is like this. You basically don't ever want to cross the center line. There we go. Okay. So it's like that, and then the other one sits the other way because as you can see, the wings have a shape to them, which would allow 2 of them to be put together in opposite directions to make one. So the fact that I was able to do that with very little control over mouse and keyboard, this should be pretty simple in here. I mean, like, there's even more room if you come all the way over. Well, I mean, assuming that you want it to land correctly. It's close. See how close you are to the top, too. Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be probably pretty perfect, and the other side could do that too. So let's go ahead and power this off. And jump out. Yeah, this is the Antares, so the one with the gun. The gun would be very, very close to the top. It would be interesting to see how that fits. You can see up there that little tiny cannon. That's the that's your PWC. What is it? Point defense cannon, PDC. Kind of like think the Expanse when they're shooting missiles and stuff. I think that's what they're trying to go for here. But yeah, I mean we're on. Let's take a look at where our landing gear is. Not awful. Provided that it will take off like this, I think it should be fine. So yeah, it's tight. You could do 2 in here. I don't know how your crew is going to do in terms of rearmament, although they are in the back. And yeah, so at least one of these would probably be pretty difficult to service just based on where the hangar elevators are. But you know, that's the trade-off that you're making for trying to increase your pocket carrier. I think overall, I think that this ship is probably one of the best that they've done. And it makes sense because I feel that every ship that comes out next, they learn off of that, they iterate, and it should be better than the rest of them in terms of like layout and looks and function and stuff like that. And you hope that eventually they'll be able to go back and fix your favorite ship. But very cool. Overall, I'm pleased with this. Like I said, the actual manpower to run this effectively is probably significantly more than most people A, have access to, or B, realize. But I mean, part of the fun, I guess, is coming across one of these with very few players and being able to overwhelm them in other ships, maybe lower class ships or another Polaris that's well run. And as always, I think that the biggest thing in Star Citizen that's going to differentiate people is not how much they spend on their fleet. It's going to be their fleet cohesion and their ability to find the right people to make these things work. And that'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me, Captain Katar and the Astro Adventurer. I appreciate you being here. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the verse. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for hanging out and talking ships with us. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and join me for more ship reviews and space adventures. Fly safe, and we'll see you in the verse.